ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति. Namaskar my dear friends, this is third video on the stories from the Upanishads. The heading of this story is Gargi the Fair Questioner. In the ancient Vedic times, even there were women sages who were equally learned like their male counterparts. Gargi was one of the most learned sages of Vedic era. So I start this video. It is significant that ladies also took part sometimes in the debates and discussions that took place at the time of Vedic sacrifices. In one such debate, Gargi Vachakannavi ranged herself against the great patriarch Yajnavalkya. She had to acknowledge defeat. Ultimately, Yajnavalkya proved equal to all who discussed with him and carried away the prize of 1,000 cows from King Janaka. King Janaka of Vidya performed a great sacrifice. He gave gifts to all very generously on that occasion. He loved to see important questions discussed in his presence. So he caused 1,000 good cows to be collected in the yard with gold pieces tied to their horns. This was within sight of the grand assembly that had met there for the sacrifice. Then he announced, "He who can defeat all others in debate can take away this coveted prize of 1,000 cows." This was a tempting prize, no doubt. Hundreds of learned men who had assembled there began to look at one another. But when none had the daring to go forward and even touch the cows, Yajnavalkya, the famous sage who was there in the assembly, had the audacity to step forth and ask one of his disciples to march off with the cows. Each one of the learned that were present there saw the prize slipping out of his grasp. But who could challenge the famous Yajnavalkya? Aswala, King Janaka's high priest, got up in a rage and asked, "Answer me, O Yajnavalkya, how dare you assume that you are the foremost among all the seekers after knowledge and appropriate the prize to yourself? Do you know Brahma?" The sage was, however, unmoved. He calmly replied, "No, good sir, I bow to him who is the knower of Brahma, but I am a poor Brahmin and need the cows badly." Asura was not silenced by the rebuff. He asked, "Then tell me, how does a householder conquer death?" "By worshipping the god Agni and through the sport of the Vani," replied Yajnavalkya. Asvala persisted. He asked Yajnavalkya the details of the sacrifices to various gods who bestow different boons. He questioned the sage about ceremonies and rituals, the verses to be recited, and the rites to be observed. The sage answered all the queries calmly and correctly. All of Aswada's learning could not defeat the sage. By now, however, a few more had gathered courage. Several learned Brahmins came forward to ask various questions on the Vedas and the sacrifices. One asked where King Parikshit was. Yajnavalkya told him that he was in the heaven allotted to those who performed the Aswamedha sacrifice. Another asked the sage what the Atma was. The sage replied, Atma is not known by my telling you, nor by your learning from me. He is all pervading without beginning and without end. He is known only by the true seeker through self-realization. Thus was the debate waxing and waning, and the sage calmly answering them all, when out stepped a fair Brahmin girl to contest the prize. She was Gargi, Vacha Kanvi. She asked, all known things are pervaded by elementary matter. Can you tell me, O sage, by what that elementary matter is pervaded? By ether, replied Yajnavalkya. She asked, by what is ether pervaded? By Brahmaloka, replied the sage. Then by what is Brahmaloka pervaded? She continued. At this Yajnavalkya lost his temper. Do not ask silly questions for the sake of asking. Shut up or your head will fall from your shoulder. Gargi retired abashed. As the debate progressed, she again gathered courage. The Brahmins marveled at the young woman who could thus challenge in contest the well-known sage. But Gargi had now questions worth of the sage's learning. Here are two questions, she said, like the brave bowmen of Kansi and Vidya with arrows strung to their bows. Tell me, if you can, O sage, what is that is beyond the heavens and below the earth, yet between the heavens and earth too, that which is past, present, and future. The learned Brahmins held their breath. They were wondering what the reply could be. By Akasa, by ether, the all-pervading, that is past, present and future, replied the sage. And what is it that is finer than Akasa that pervades the ether itself? Asked Gargi. The men gathered were surprised at the persistence of the fair questioner. But Yajnavalkya calmly replied, by the all supreme spirit, the creator and supporter of all things, the all pervading and the immanent without beginning and without end. This spirit is the innermost reality in the heart of a man beyond pain and old age. At this, Gargi admitted her defeat and addressed the assembly, said, none of us can win the debate against this great sage. He is the master of spiritual knowledge. The debate should have rightly ended here. While the assembly acknowledged the mastery of the sage, they also admired the courage and learning of fair Gargi. But a few young men did come forward with petty questions which Yajnavalkya answered and tweeted the ambitious novices. Lastly, the sage said, I shall be glad to answer more questions. I am here to reply to your satisfaction. But he had already answered questions big and small, and all were silent. He was the undisputed victor in the great debate. So here ends this video. Namaskar my dear friends, please like, comment and share the video and subscribe the channel. Thanks a lot. Namaskar. Next video will be Balaki the Zen.